on my 18th birthday when I got into a serious crash. That was my fault. I was driving home one day from Banchan. I just was going home to drop off some chicken for my little sister when I was texting while driving.
Oh my god.
That's a big no, but I felt like such a rebel, and I felt like I was such a good driver that I could do it. But
you were a hero in your own mind.
yeah. But I was looking down at my phone for a couple seconds, and some guy was stopped in front of me to let the other guy turn, and I hit him in the back. And I kind of luckily I swerved a little bit, so it wasn't like a direct hit, but I kind of like nicked him. My car was beat up pretty bad, but his was okay. And we kind of like turned into a street, and it was an old lady and an old man, and I felt so scared. You know, you have that feeling when you get in your like first car crash. You feel like you were worried that you might hurt somebody or kill somebody.
Yeah.
You always get that kind of fear.
Oh yeah.
And you were 18 years old. I was like, just
yeah. You know,
fresh.
that's like fresh into adulthood. You know, that's when everyone starts to think they're adults, and yeah,
get a little bit too cocky.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there as well. It's like one time I was driving a little bit too fast in a neighborhood, like right when I first got my license, and there was this person walking their dog, and I almost didn't see them, right? And you know, I was like, I got pretty scared that I was gonna hit them or something, but I was able to like slow down and move over to the side before anything serious happened or anything like that.
Yeah, luckily for my situation, no one was really hurt. I wasn't hurt; they weren't hurt. But I thought for myself I was gonna get myself like a ticket or something, but in the end, I got a nice lady cop, and she just let me off with a warning. So that was pretty nice, because usually in those situations, people get like a ticket or something.
at least like failure to obey.
Yeah, but I was like
Right.
totally compliant, and I was like screaming my head off. That was my fault. You know, you're not supposed to say that it's your fault. Your insurance company tell you not to do that.
Right.
But
In a situation like that, whether you admit it or not is not. I mean, it was going to end out the same way.
yeah,
And so the lady probably felt bad for you.
yeah, because
It's like it's hard to not be responsible when you rear end someone, I guess.
There's that.
Speaking of us rear ending, I've been saving this all day so I didn't spoil it for the podcast. But you know what I saw on my way over here today?
what?
Okay, the fact they started it with a rear ending.
But the variety
you
of
said
rear
but.
ending, the variety of rear ending was quite unique. I saw someone rear-ended a unmarked cop car,
Oh no!
and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Was it you, Chris?
Nah, it wasn't me. But I was like, "Damn, that sucks for you, dude. Like that really sucks."
It's like it's bad enough that you rear-ended someone.
Oh yeah,
But now what are you going to do? Ask him not to call the cops?
too late.
The cops are already there.
He'd been there, and it was his booty you wrecked.
I mean, have you guys gotten into a car accident before?
I have not.
I have quite an extensive story on car crash. So Sonny, to my knowledge, is probably the safest driver I know, tied closely with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Both fairly good. They're good drivers. I like to consider myself an adventurous driver,
Mm-hmm.
and they can agree.
Oh, yeah.
I've mellowed out since I met these guys, but
I don't think I've ever driven with you a long time, and I haven't ridden in your Pantmobile.
oh, that's a story for another time.
I think I've been in like every car that Ross has before. Like I've been in all of them.
Yeah, because
wow.
I mean, I got a big family, and so we like switch around cars all the time. And Sonny's always in. I think he's been in every single one of my vehicles.
Yeah.
It's mostly because he needs a ride to his car.
That's true because he parks so far.
Yeah, I park far away from the campus. Not like in like any student parking or anything. I park in like a neighborhood.
He parks far away, so someone's got to give this poor bastard a ride.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the first time I got into an accident was when I only had my learner's permit.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I might have had my last. I don't know. I was like 17 years old. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and my little brother in the car, and I looked down for just 1 second. I was trying to find my hat, and I look up, and it was a red light. I slowed down. The impact was really small. Nothing really happened, but I tapped the guy. I tapped the guy enough that he was close enough to the next car, and it tapped them too. So it was a little bump that moved us a little bit.
Yeah.
We checked the cars, and the dude in front of me, he checked his car. He's like, "Yo, my car's like kind of fine. There's a little dent." nothing's wrong. He checked my car was fine. The lady in front, like 2 cars ahead of me, she got out and she had like a spanking new car. Like it was a nice car.
Damn.
And obviously she threw a hissy fit. And we were just gonna all call it quits and go home. And but I mean, I was 17. I immediately started apologizing to both of them. So I'm so sorry, I wasn't paying attention. And she's like, I'm gonna call the cops or whatever. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh fuck me. But you know, I'm like, whatever. Okay, go for it. Cops came, looked at our cars, knew it was my fault. Saw that I was like pretty young, and he's like, all right, you know what? If there's no complaints at all, I'm just gonna let this slide. Because there's also like no one got hurt and all the cars look fine too. The lady was like, he gave us all a sheet of paper, like we put our names or the info, all that good stuff. And on one part there was this checkbox is I forgot what the exact wording, but it said reason to file or whatever. And we all checked no, but that lady said there's a scratch on my car and everything. The cop went and says, lady, there's nothing there. So he checked it no for her. And so this was when I was a lot younger. And you know, I pretty much got off scot-free that one time.
Wow.
And this is a long time ago. It was really small, but it was still a little jarring. But that was kind of a one-time event, and then nothing really happened until college. So I started working at this one place. I was basically a tutor, and to tutor at different schools, sometimes in their main place, and I'd have to drive between places. Now this is a 3-part story. Like that's how crazy this shit is. The first time, and I was driving from a storage facility with like a bunch of extra computers and equipment to go to a school. I was almost run off the road. I was in the far left lane. I was like 6 p.m. You know, there was like very little traffic because I was going to a school. And there was a car on my right that probably just didn't see me. And you guys have probably had this experience.
Oh, yeah.
When they merge into your lane without a lot of warning.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Thing was, I was driving a fairly dinky little car. It was a little red Toyota Yaris. It was a stick shift, so it was very small. It was only 2 doors. F-150 on my right, you know? So I got scared. It came into my lane, and I reactively went left. There's no more left to go, so you know that kind of part of the road that makes a loud noise when you go over it? It's like a bunch of bumps. So I went on that, went into the shoulder, and I was okay. That car was okay. There was no actual contact. But I was so angry and pissed, and then all that got relieved immediately when I heard siren right behind me.
Oh, wow.
There was a cop nearby or whatever, and he saw that shit. And, you know, it pulled us both out. We talked a little bit, and he just told me, all right, you're good. You can go. So I left. However, in that interval, when he was talking to the other driver, maybe give him a ticket, maybe give him a warning, I don't know what happened. I had to call the school, and I'm like, yo, I almost got in a car accident. I'm going to be late. And I didn't work directly for the school. I worked for a company that would send tutors out to schools.
Right.
So there was like a coordination thing, and it would be really bad if I went late or anything happened. But they were like, oh, car accident, you're fine. So I ended up going to school, making it surprisingly on time because it was only like a couple extra minutes. And I go in, and then the lady's like, there's my coordinator there and the students. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. All right, let's start. It's like, man, I told them all about how you almost died. I'm like, yo, they're kids. No, it's just...
All right. He couldn't make it. He almost died today. He's in the hospital.
And I walk in like, hi, guys. Okay, so that was the first part. And that was like thank God. I you know, it could have been a lot worse, and it turned out really fine.
Yeah.
Right? Same job. A little later, I'm driving. This time it's completely my fault. Right, so I'm driving down a road, and it's like a 3-lane road, and I check my phone. And this is what happens. I check my phone, and if only I knew Sunny's story beforehand. But anyways, I look up, and it turns out it's a red light, and I'm still going the normal 30-40 speed. It's a local road. So I slam my brakes, and I know immediately I'm not going to stop my car in time. It's gonna hit. So what I do is I veer right, and in between the 2 lanes I drive, like between the lane on my right and the lane I was in.
Gotcha.
And my small ass car fits.
Oh, wow.
However, this guy had a large pickup truck. I don't know what it was, but it was large enough that his back tail light was the same height as my mirror.
So your mirror hits the taillight.
Yes, and it hits. We heard a loud noise, obviously, and my mirror snaps off. So obviously I get out, I apologize to the guy, I say, yo, it's completely my fault, all that good stuff. This is more recent. This was in college, just a few years ago. And I mean, I didn't feel a crazy crushing, stone of responsibility or authority like coming down on me, but I felt the jitters. I'm like, no, what have I done? What have I done, right?
Yeah.
So like, and it's also, it wasn't my car, it's my dad's car. So obviously there's that too. I'm like, man, I'm so fucked. So I talked to the guy. We both pull off to the sides, and then I pick up my mirror, which is it was a nice mirror.
Let me just pick this up real quick.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of mirror pieces on the ground too, right? So I want to make sure there wasn't debris. So we just get off the side, we talk a little bit, and his car is completely fine.
Yeah,
it's a big car. The only damage that could have happened is maybe the glass around his backlight might have shattered, but it didn't. And he's like, my car's completely fine. My car, okay, his car was completely fine. Mine was also completely fine, minus the mirror. But when the mirror flew off, it like scraped a teeny line. But other than that, my car was also completely fine. And again, I had to be like, how many chances is God giving me, man? Like,
yeah,
it's
just progressively, incrementally more.
Right? Oh, these stories are over.
Yeah.
So he was cool with it. We were cool with it. And he's like, you know what? And he was a little older. And by a little older, I don't mean like 50. I'm thinking maybe like 30, 40. Okay. Right? So I mean just a little older than me. And he's like, kids these days, he was like really angry, but not at me, just at the situation. He's like, he wasn't frustrated for himself. He was frustrated for me, kind of. He's like, why would you have to do that? Like, don't you know that you could have died, this, that? And it was making me feel more bad because I knew that, and I was already beating myself up over it. And he's like, you're probably on your phone. He just kind of slid that in there as he was talking, and that I was like, that made my heart spike a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But everything turned out fine. Just for the next few weeks until it was like $40 part just for the little hinge to put the mirror back.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to worry about is because you already look over your left shoulder when you go left. It wasn't too bad. Like if I lost my right mirror, that would have been a lot harder because that's like you rely on your right mirror more than left mirror. Because your left mirror you also have to turn your head anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, just for a week or two, it was kind of rough, and after that, everything was fine. I ended up quitting my job at the tutor place. Not for those reasons at all. I ended up quitting just for my own reasons. I worked there, got a little bit of experience. College got busy, all that good stuff.
I actually did quit a job because I was like scared to drive all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, like I used to be a canvasser, which means you just go door to door, kind of advertising to people, right? Trying to promote products. But the locations that I had to go to were these neighborhoods all over the area, like all over the greater area. So I would sometimes have to drive like 30 minutes to an hour just to get to these neighborhoods. And so I was doing a lot of driving as someone who only had their license for less than a year. And so I actually did quit because I was like, you know what? I've had a lot of like close calls already, and I'm clearly like not really at the level I should be to be doing this job. So I'm gonna.
What do you mean by close calls? Like
peace out.
Like
one time I thought I was gonna roll my car because
shit.
So I was like pretty like new to the driving, and I was using Google Maps obviously to get to the location because I've never been to these places. They're all over the fucking place, and so my thing is like in like 50 feet, like turn right or something like that. And I'm like, I didn't have a good perception of how far away that was.
50 feet is like brake right the fuck now.
Yeah, so it was like longer. So say like it was like a quarter mile or something like that. Yeah. And like in like a quarter mile, turn right. And I was like,
I got about a minute or two.
No, I was like, quarter mile? I probably went that far already. So I like yeet into the nearest like right turn that it happens to be there. And of course it's like way too soon. Like I definitely had a lot longer time that I could have. But I was like, I didn't give myself enough time to slow down for this turn, and I basically just took this turn at like 30 or 40 miles an hour, like a right turn, and I was driving a Jeep, and those are like
so you
top heavy.
You felt the whole thing.
Yeah, those are top heavy. So I was like, oh god, like I thought I was gonna roll the fucking thing, and of course my heart was like going after that, and so
God, Chris.
Yeah, so I was pretty. I mean, I must have been just turning 16, maybe a little bit later than that. Maybe a little older.
Hella early.
Yeah, I was. I mean, this was like my first job, I think. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
after
I quit my job, like a couple of weeks later, maybe like a month later, my direct manager, like called me up, And it's like, because we were on really good terms. Like, we talked, we were chill. We were more than just coworkers. We were definitely, like, whenever she had issues with, like, directing other people, because I was a lead, she would ask, why did this person leave our job? Or why did this person feel bad? Because, I mean, I was cool with some of the people there. She ended up calling me up and say, hey, do you ever want to consider, like, coming back or whatever? Or if not, we can just meet up and talk a little bit. I'm like, all right, that works perfectly fine. So we decide on a time, 11 a.m. on a certain day. I leave, and by the way, at this job, I had a history of, not a history, but I'd say I would consistently arrive like a few minutes late. And obviously that's not very professional, but like I worked really well in evenings, but the early morning shifts I hated. So anyways, it was 11 a.m. and I'm like, you know what? If this is the last time I'm going to see this person, I'm going to be on time. Like, I'm going to at least give them that honor, right? So I leave well in time. And I am about, I want to say, 6-7 minutes away. And it is 10:50 or 10:45. And I'm like, I'm going to make it well in time. I'll park. I'm not going to run into the door like I sometimes do. I'll walk up and feel good about it. Right. And and I was already made the plan not to work there. Like I was going to be respectful about it, but also I wanted to catch up. Oh my God. And this is where it gets super spicy. It's a 2-lane road, right? There is a left lane that goes straight and a right lane that also goes straight, but in about a quarter mile-ish or whatever, it turns to the right only. So most people merge into the left. And what does that mean for the majority of traffic? The left lane's kind of blocked. Everyone's slow or stopped because of the red light. The right lane is flowing. Why? Because people are making that right turn or no one's in there. Because most people want to go straight here. I believe I did need to go. No, I didn't have to take that straight. I didn't have to go straight. I was making that right. But I didn't even reach it. Somewhere in the middle, on the left, there was a gap in that left lane. A nice person, because the red line created a huge line of cars, the red light created a huge line of cars, they left a space for people to go through at like mini intersections without lights, just like neighborhoods and stuff for people to get out.
Right.
So from the oncoming traffic side, a lady makes a left turn right in front of me.
Oh, no.
Right in front of me. And a collision occurs. And I didn't T-bone her, and she didn't hit me. It was like both of the front of our cars hit.
They like kissed each other.
Yeah, they kissed.
Well, she was in mid-turn, so it was still perpendicular-ish.
So a side kiss.
Yeah, she did the little head turn.
Right.
And I drag her car just a little bit forward, but since my car's smaller, mine also gets dragged to the side. So we both just dragged diagonally off a little bit into that side street that she was turning into. It was bad enough that there was debris everywhere, and my first thought was just not again. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. Usually there's a shock, and then it's like you feel bad for one reason or another. And this time there was none of the feel bad. This was just, I wanted to say like anger. I was frustrated. I'm like, why? And then the next thought was, I need to get out of here because the first thing I perceived after I gained my sense a little bit, because I didn't realize it was kind of a hard hit. I don't even remember my head hitting, or by the way, the airbags hit my face, all that good stuff. I didn't realize that. I was looking up and it felt like a blink.
Right. Yeah.
And the next thing I'm just up and not moving.
You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, no, it was fast. And then I remembered it happening, but I didn't perceive it happening. Anyways, the first thing I perceived after that, when I got my bearings around me, I started smelling smoke. And I'm like, this is bad. And I looked at the airbag, and there's a cut in the airbag with something coming out. And then, I don't know why I think this way, but I usually think in random facts. Like, every once in a while, I just spit out random facts, you guys, for no reason. And the one I remembered was the thing they use for airbags was jet fuel. It's because it's like a fast exploding thing. Whatever. I forgot what it was. Was it jet fuel?
Yeah.
Okay,
because
something.
of beams. I know that for sure.
Damn, Sonny. Okay, so I just remembered like a random fact that I'm like, this is probably not good for me. I need to get out. Right. So I open the left door, and I open it. It doesn't open all the way. It only cracks out like half a foot, and I can't squeeze through that. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I push it, and I had to kick it like really hard before like it gives away. And turns out the left door and the right door were jammed because the front of my car was pushed back. The cover, the body was shoved back and crumpled into the sides a little bit. So for me, it was like a full-on frontal hit almost,
Right.
especially on the left side. So I managed to like creak it open. It's like resisting, and then I get out, and I take like 2 steps, and I'm just like, I just breathe out. I don't even have time to think about the other person for a second. I just breathe out, and then I hear an "Are you okay?" from behind me. This big Jeep with these 2 ladies. They look like mother and daughter. Like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, were you part of the crash?" Like, no. They just parked on the side and saw us because they were there.
Right.
So that was really nice of them. And
Nice.
and then the younger lady went over to the other car and tried helping that lady out. And the lady that I hit, or that we hit each other, she was like pushing 60, 70.
She was older.
That's what I thought at the
God.
time. This is what I thought at the time. She was pushing it. We get her out, and she is like hysterical. She's like she's almost blaming me. It's like, "Why did you come? Why did this, that?" And when I told her, "Yo, I had the right of way. I didn't even see you coming. It was just a straight. You just came in out of nowhere." She said the guy gave me the go. So basically,
that's like
and
rookie
this,
mistake, dude.
yeah, and that's when I felt like, okay, that's when I started getting some of my sympathy back. Like, damn.
Wait,
That-
so the guy.
Okay, so yeah, so let
lane.
me explain what that means. Because I was in the right lane, and there was no traffic on the right lane because there was a
Someone
car
on
going.
the left side. Yeah,
Someone
you
on the
can
left
go.
side who was stopped because there was a red light on that side. Probably gave her like a hand signal, "All right, you can go,"
Yeah,
without seeing me coming.
didn't take you into it. Yeah,
And then I could not see the opposite side of the road because there was a line of cars in the way.
and she couldn't
and
see
there was probably no way she could have seen me either.
you.
And so she just went, and that was terrible. And she had just minor lacerations around her legs because of just hitting the thing, and she was pretty much okay. She was pretty much okay physically, but mentally she was like not with it. She was like getting angry at
Freaking out.
everybody.
Yeah.
I was only able to not like mentally break down or whatever because of those 2 random ladies, like the mom and the daughter that like helped out. And they're like, "All right, you're feeling okay? All right, just come over here." We moved like some of the debris and everything, and it turned out okay. The cops came. It was clearly her fault, not mine. And I mean, I knew that, but still, it was really nice to be validated by an officer, right?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
this is one way I don't want to fuck up. Like, it's already bad enough as it is. An ambulance came for obvious reasons, just to make sure we're okay. They kept saying, "Hey, do you need anything? Do you want water? Do you want Band-Aids?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm good." And that's just my way of trying to like avoid more conflict or whatever.
Yeah.
But the daughter was an EMT, and the mother was like, she was older, but the daughter was an EMT, and she's like, "Yo, they'll give you like just a Band-Aid. Like, you have cuts on your hand." And I looked down, and there's cuts all over my hands.
Oh wow.
Shit.
It turns out it's because when I crashed, my hands went past the wheel, and like the buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
It just kind of mashed against that.
Oh wow.
So I had random cuts, and it was like bruising, and I only just started feeling that. I didn't really register any of
I
that.
think you're just like so much adrenaline was going through your
Oh,
body.
yeah.
you
Yeah.
went
You
into
were feeling-
survival mode.
Everything was coursing, man. I was
Absolutely.
so that's why I was angry for like a while. It's like I was energy, just wanted to like punch something.
Yeah.
Not my
yeah.
car. I could have punched my car. It couldn't have gotten any worse.
I definitely get that. Yeah.
But yeah, and so can I get a Band-Aid? And they give me a Band-Aid. They wrap it up, and then I realized when she's holding my hand, my whole hand is just shaking. Not my
Oh,
left hand,
wow,
just
yeah.
my right hand.
Yeah.
Because it probably jammed really hard or something.
Well, I mean, that's also a result of just the energy coursing
Oh,
through your
true,
body
true.
at that point.
Yeah, it's
I
like I
mean-
can't. That happens even now, like after like a really good game of League,
This really gets you going.
or a really bad one. Well, anyways, and the lady demands an ambulance, and the ambulance is already there for just in case. And she's like, "I need an ambulance. I'm really hurt," and they're trying to calm her down first
Yeah.
because she's really not that hurt at all.
She's perceiving it as being a lot worse than it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at some point she kind of not admits fault, but she kind of realizes and accepts that it's her fault.
Yeah.
And she's having a hard time dealing with that because now she knows obviously like payments and other shit that has to happen now.
Yeah. And
So-
then there's also the added depth of guilt when you kind of come to terms with that.
Well, like not to make this sound racial by any means, but she sounded and acted very much like an entitled white lady. Like
Oh,
she
yeah.
was blaming me like the entire time.
Well, the
until
older
the very
the
end.
older you get as a
And it wasn't, that's why I said I don't want to make it racial, but it wasn't because of that. It was because she was older,
yeah.
and she just was like, "You should have seen me," stuff like that. It had nothing to do with it. Like she was just stubborn. I guess I could say.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was just stubborn and stuck in her ways a little bit.
Yeah, the generational gap.
Yeah. So the cops came. This was a completely new process to me. The whole paperwork and everything, like the cops have to do it on their own too, right? So this guy, he was really nice to us. He did the paperwork for each of our 3 cars individually. The third car, the one behind us, wasn't even part of it, but because they're a witness, he wanted to take their testimony and stuff.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And he just took a picture of all 3 and asked for numbers and sent me the pictures. And I'm like, I don't have to write any of this shit. He's like, nah. I'm like, that's so nice. Anyways, yeah, he
Wait, so was the third witness the guy that told her to go, or was it
the third car? The witness
that was the 2 ladies.
It was a girl who worked as an EMT,
right?
At some university. I forgot what it was, and then her mom, who just happened to be with her at the time.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the daughter probably made her stop.
Yeah. He's like, yo, let's make sure these guys are okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
She's a good EMT.
yeah. And then like she helped me first with like the band-aids, and then she went over to a lady and tried to help her up, making sure she was good. She knew what she was doing, clearly.
Yeah, she sounds like it.
But yeah,
thank God EMT was there.
A fire truck came and blocked
lucky.
off like half the road, and that made me feel like I don't want to say secure, but it made me just feel nice because now there's no more cars coming. Because every time a car whizzed by, I just felt
the stairs or something.
Not the stairs. No, I'm like I felt like I was gonna hit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why.
You're a little paranoid.
Yeah, I was a little paranoid, a little traumatized right
there.
Yeah,
like induced from the crash. Yeah, that makes sense.
Man, this is fucking like this sucks. And then after the cop leaves me and he's done with my stuff, he's going to take the testimony, like take the picture and send it to the other lady. I suddenly get a brief moment to myself. I'm not in the car. I'm out of the car. Everything. I have a brief moment to myself. I'm like, this sucks, but I have an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I pull out my phone, which is still in my pocket and everything, which is nice. So I pull out my phone and it's like 2 minutes past 11.
Oh wow! So all of that happened within that short time frame, huh?
It happened within I'd say 20 minutes. So this happened at 10:46. The crash occurred at 10:46, and I remember that because I had to write that down a lot of times during the paperwork.
Oh wait, okay, I see. So your like arrival time was set to be like 11.
No, my arrival time
56 or something like that.
It was gonna be like 10:55.
10:50.
It was like like I was gonna have a few minutes, and I was gonna feel good about it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So
I wasn't there yet. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I still had to get a couple minutes.
So she probably just thought you were fashionably late again.
Yes, that's so. It was like 11:02, 11:03, and she sends me a text.
Yeah.
And we.
You should have sent her a picture.
Funny you mentioned that. I did. So here's the thing: we usually communicate through Slack or whatever company thing they were using at the time. They switched it a few times. But this time she sent me a text because I wasn't working there anymore, right? And she sent me a text saying, "Hey, just to let you know, we set a date for an appointment." She was not being rude or passive aggressive. None of that. She was just reminding me because the appointment was a loose appointment. It was very informal. Like, hey, just drop by anytime. But she said 11, and I wanted to be there. And I'm like, yo. So something came up. I might not be able to make it, but if you step aside and look left, you'll see me. And I sent her a picture of my busted front car. And
that's a pretty tremendous that's pretty cool.
I felt really cool about it.
Yeah.
But I had not. It was my only saving grace, man. I had to do something to feel cool.
Yeah, of course.
I was feeling like shit.
Yeah.
So I ended up just looking at my car, and the front is so mushed. Oh my god! Oh, when the fire truck, when they were examining my car, they said any fluids. They looked under the car, nothing, and they said Toyotas have this thing, and it was a Toyota Yaris, where upon being crushed, the engine will sometimes just drop a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of an emergency thing. That's so it doesn't get pushed into your lap and you burn to death, for one. And two, is so it doesn't explode.
Huh.
Right? And it says it worked perfectly.
Thank you, Toyota.
Thank you, Toyota. It worked perfectly because the front was so mushed that, how'd you get out of the car? And then they saw that that kind of red, it was a red car, that cover on the front was bent out of shape. It's I had to push my way out. And it's well, how? I was well, I panicked. I found strength. I got out. Fuck this. I'm not staying in there because there was some smoke coming out of the thing.
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got scared. And they're well, so good news is you're relatively okay. Other than minor scratches on both people, we're both completely fine. And also I would be fine legally and everything.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The only thing that happened now is the paperwork, and now we're getting that winded down. And I look, and this part of my front is just missing. You know that gate on your car?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little piece of missing. And I kind of looked through the debris, and I pickup, you know how the Toyota has that symbol? It's like a circle?
Yeah, yeah.
It's perfect.
Wow, really?
It popped out. It didn't break or bend or...
You keep it?
I have it. Yeah, I have it with
Nice.
me. I'm going to send a picture with it. I have it. I saved it.
That's awesome.
It's in my room right now. And I'm like, you know, I can really attach a belt to it.
Yeah, of course.
And be like that. Or I can just keep it as a memento as time I almost died.
We'll put it down in the description below.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll definitely throw a picture of that. So I kept that. And then now everything's being cleared up. Traffic's like flowing more freely. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, my manager and one of my coworkers that I was really close with, like my favorite coworker, were suddenly right there.
Oh wow!
And it's like, Ihraz, what the fuck? My manager does not curse, but like, yo, what the fuck? What happened? Oh, by the way, how far I was away from my destination? I want to say 1/8 of a mile.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you're really close.
2 to 3 minutes walk. I could have walked the rest of the way.
Right.
Like it was that next right turn I just needed to take, and it was in that like area.
Yeah.
They come out and it's like, what the heck? Like, and I checked my phone, and when I texted the picture, she texted back like, "Oh my god, Ihraz, are you okay?" Like, and I didn't respond to any of that because I was busy.
Oh yeah.
Right, because I just put it back in my pocket, and so I felt bad for giving her anxiety. But she came out and we started talking, and I mean, we didn't catch up much because it was more, what the fuck happened? How did this happen? And talking about it. And then she it was kind of awkward silence. And then she's like,
well, I'm quitting today. And
so good news. The awkward silence, I didn't have to break it. She broke it. She's like, I'm going to assume you're not going to work with us anymore. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I kind of already knew that. I just wanted to try, you know. I'm like, yeah. I'm not going to be driving for a while either. Clearly. So that worked out. Ended up calling my little brother. He gave me a ride home. Yeah. Called insurance. Did all that good stuff. Everything turned out fine. But man, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you guys already know this, but for all you listeners, that was my favorite car. I love that little car. It didn't even have power windows. I had to like break my shoulders opening it every time, but I loved it. Yeah. That was
a good car.
That was the triple
deluxe.
The 3-book saga of me progressively fucking myself over, and then eventually my car became undrivable. They couldn't. Yeah, it was totaled. They couldn't even drive. They couldn't drive it. They couldn't even start the engine. It was dragged off to a place,
tow yard.
Yeah, yeah, and we had to go back later and retrieve my stuff from it because of my school stuff. And yeah, everything turned out fine. There's one more tidbit. It was the legal part of it. I was subpoenaed.
What does that mean?
Okay, so I'm going to give you the generic definition. It's basically when the court says "come to court," or you get a free felony. Like, you don't have to commit a felony, but like if you're subpoenaed, it's a court order saying "come to court."
Okay,
right?
So it's like jury duty.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? So I'm reading it. I'm like, and it's referencing that date. It's referencing this is like a couple weeks after. It's referencing that date, that location. Even has a lady's name, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized, no. It's not me versus her. It's the county versus her.
Oh.
So basically, they're probably just filing a charge against her, and they subpoena me as a witness.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, do I have to go? Well, I'm subpoenaed. I do have to go. So I end up deciding to miss class on another morning. And by the way, if I didn't mention it before, I'll mention it. I think I did. I'm terrible at timings in the morning. So I had to wake up, actually look okay.
Come in your pajamas.
I decided that day not to wear pajamas. It was a big decision. Anyways, I go to court. I end up late. I'm like 10 minutes late. And it's not because I was late. I parked on time. I had a couple minutes. The line was just long. Oh, and sure. I forgot, when it comes to traffic court violations and stuff, most of the dates are put together.
Yeah.
Right? They're on specific dates. So there's a lot of other people there.
Yeah.
And I was stupid enough to forget that. And I'm just waiting in line like an idiot. Finally get up there. I'm like, okay, here's my paper. It's like stapled. And here's why I'm here. Where's the courtroom? And he's like, oh, she takes a stamp and I look at it, it says paid. So basically, the lady paid whatever the violation was.
Oh, I see.
So she wouldn't even have to come to court. And I'm just holding that piece of paper, missed class, the class I actually cared about, got up early, am here, like wearing stamp. Yeah. And I'm like, why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah, that sucks.
I was like, fuck this shit. It was just a roller coaster of good things, unfortunate occurrences, but that last one was a definite kicker. But I will say,
salt in the wind.
When my dad found out, and like when we told our family and stuff, when he sent the pictures of the car, they're like, if the car looks like that, how are you alive? And I'm like, yeah, the front got crushed. I don't know, but like it was bad. It was terrible. No one thought I would get unscathed. Like, you didn't like crush your legs or lose nothing. Like, nah. I lost my dignity a little bit, but
yeah.
You always like see those kind of like pictures online and like anything. You see like this car completely just fucking total and shit, and then you look at the person, he's like totally fine.
They just crawl out or whatever.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, you really have to hand it to the engineers that make the cars, like all the safety features.
You gotta hand it to God, man. Like a little bit too. Like sometimes I feel I was just lucky.
Somebody's watching over.
Yeah, I mean,
you ever feel like you have a certain like, I don't know if you want to call it like a superpower or a certain like facet of life you feel especially lucky at? Like I'm sure for you, it's like the car accident stuff.
Well, for me, I'm not called those little. The surviving part was lucky, but I know what you're talking about, that feeling, and I do have that, but not with cars.
Oh, what do you have it for?
Well, you brought it up. I want to hear.
Well, okay. I'll talk about mine then. I have this unique ability to hit every green light, like probably over 75% of the time.
Man, fuck you, Chris. That's not me, man.
Wait.
I want your
all
power.
of a sudden, I don't think you're lucky, because then I'd be lucky too.
Oh yeah.
I think the majority of people are just unlucky, like Sunny.
Yeah,
that's
I
like
hit red lights consistently.
Yeah, like I know you do.
Don't.
I know Riza does too. I swear to God, every time Riza's in my car, she brings her bad luck with her too.
Oh.
And so every time I'm driving with her, we hit every single traffic light, or we'll hit like most of them, right? Like on average, yes, we're gonna stop. But if it's just me, like driving from place to place, that's like when I was pulling into school today. Not only did I get a green light perfectly on the main road there, and then the green arrow, you usually have to wait there at the green arrow. I got it that too. Like I just went like,
okay, that's super lucky.
Chris.
That never happened.
So lucky.
And I got really close parking. Like I'm really lucky with like green lights.
Like for me, I'm a highway goer because I live a little farther away, so I don't take the local roads like I know Sonny you do when you come here, or like pretty much a lot of people around here. So I hate red lights. Like I hate intersections. I hate the whole thing. I especially hate it when people are across the street. I don't hate them. I'm not like the guy who revs their engine at everybody. No, but it's just like I have to wait an extra 20 seconds, and I'm just looking at the timer. Nah, I'm super lucky with green lights though.
Like, I'm not. So like I don't know why, but early like I had a summer job this year, and it was me just maintaining like water pipes and all that stuff, or like paying hydrants. That was my job description for the summer. But since my job is doing with all the like maintenance and all that stuff, I have to go early to like avoid all the like cars and stuff for the pipes and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm heading to work. I don't know why, but the way I go to work, I consistently hit red lights every single time.
You're not even going somewhere fun. You're going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to work.
Red lights to work.
And there's like nobody there. There's like I'm going at like 6 a.m. in the morning when there's like nobody's even outside.
There's no cars or anything.
And consistently I hit red lights. I don't know why, because you always have to wait for that one dinky car that's waiting for the light. And I don't know why annoying. When I'm driving, red light, and I wait for that one light. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, all right. I drove like a couple of like 2 minutes, red light, and it's always just this one stretch of road. There's like 8 red lights. I hit 7 out of 8 of those lights consistently every single day. And I think to myself, like, I swear, if I just get green throughout this thing, it'll take me like 20 minutes to get to work. It takes me 40 minutes to get to work because I hit every single goddamn red light. It pisses me off so much. I'm like, sometimes I want to quit my job just because I hit these red lights. Just because of red lights. It's so annoying.
Oh god.
It's so bad. Like my luck with like traffic streetlights are just so bad.
That's terrible, man. Yeah, can't
why are you laughing?
Can't relate.
It pissed me off so much.
I'll tell you what, man. In the summertime, so the beauty about summer is that all the kids are like out of school, right? So there's no buses, there's no kids going to high school, and like all this fucking traffic for like 10 minutes maybe, and then it's like clear because everyone goes at the same time, right? You never have to worry about that. So like every day this summer, I would like leave my neighborhood. There'd be no oncoming traffic on either road, and I would just like turn. I hit the major highway, and I would just go. I would get there in like 12 to like 18 minutes, in that range. But now it takes me like it's closer to like half an hour now because there's so much fucking people, you know? It's pretty rough. But yeah.
Sometimes I forget that school buses and like children in general exist.
I know, right?
Because like, you know, through history, well, not history, but like I would always take classes like in the evenings. I'd always because high school was a fucking drag.
Yeah.
If I was put back on that clock where I had to wake up that early and then end the school day that early, and leave at 3:00, my day's starting now, right?
Right.
It's like this is where interesting stuff happens, right?
It's about 8 p.m. So it's time for Ross to go to school.
Yeah, and I like saying like it's just always avoiding traffic, and that habit became such a thing that now I'm taking a couple morning classes, and I just feel like wow, I have a class at 10:30 a.m. and I leave at like 5.
Damn.
Just so okay, that's a lie. 6, maybe 6. There's no traffic, no kids. I come straight to school. I have an extra couple hours to burn.
Yeah.
But I just sleep, or I just pull out my laptop, start playing some games.
Yeah.
Usually I should sleep for that extra time, but I don't. But either way, I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna deal with the 9 a.m. traffic.
It's really bad.
It's terrible, man.
But speaking of authorities keeping us alive, I remember once you had a story about something.
That's descriptive.
Something health related.
No, I remember you mentioned you had a story about like when you were lifting. Tell me that story, because I remember vaguely, but it was a good story.
In the vein of Close Encounters, yeah.
Yes,
so this is like nothing car related at all. But I from this day that it happened forward, totally believe in like guardian angels or like divine intervention or something like that, because of how just the set of circumstances that came about because of this is insane. So one night I was lifting with my buddy, and we were doing some chest, and so I was doing bench press, and I was doing like a pyramid set. So I was going from like, I think I was doing like a descending pyramid. So I was doing like 10 reps, and then I was doing like 9 and then 8 or something like that. And so I get all the way down to like the last couple.
You were doing descending pyramid?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe I was doing ascending. I actually don't remember how it works.
A pyramid is both an ascend and descent, or descent then an ascent.
Oh yeah?
So a pyramid would be 5, then 7, then 9 reps, then back down to 8, 7, 5.
So I was on the descending portion of it, right? Yeah, whatever I was doing that day.
It's just descending.
Yeah, this was like a couple of years ago now. Probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
All right.
Like freshman year? Anyway, so yeah, I was on the latter half of that. So my arms and my chest were toast, right? Like I was so tired. And so I'm finishing up my last thing. I'm not having a spotter or anything, which is like,
where was your friend?
He was doing something else. He was doing incline like dumbbells.
I'm sorry,
and I was doing like the single. Sonny was
my buff body.
Sonny was too busy getting as swole as he is now to worry about Chris.
Sonny, he's too busy with the ladies in the gym.
That's true. That's true.
So he doesn't pay any mind to me. I look like a damn shrimp. But yeah. So while Sonny was getting babes, I was like,
no, I was not there.
Yeah, I was like, barely getting this fucking bar up, right? And so as I'm hitting the end of this set, and I'm about to rack the barbell again, right? Mm-hmm. I put it up, and then I hear it click, and I feel it, and it feels good. It feels secure in my head. And normally, when I finish doing a set like that, especially because I was so tired, I wouldn't
just drop your arms and you just lie down.
Yeah, I would just want to like lay there for a couple seconds, just like lay down, and also then you catch your breath. Get up. Yeah,
you catch your breath a little bit. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Something told me. I just thought of another story. I'll tell it to you after this one. But something in my head told me I need to sit up immediately with urgency. I have to. And so I bolt up, man. I sit up so fast. And the second I do, the fucking bar falls down on one side right where my neck was.
So
I would have had my throat crushed. I would have died. For sure, I would have died.
Yikes.
Final destination shit right there.
For real, that's what it felt like.
Destination fucked.
And so when I turned around and looked at that, I heard the sound, and I was like, what the fuck? And so when I stood up and looked at it, my heart
One side
immediately
wasn't racked.
jumped. Yeah, one side wasn't racked. It was just like on the bench, and then luckily the weight was still on the bar because it's the clip, right?
Yeah.
But that was just a really
That's close.
powerful moment for me. Like, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that. Like, don't overdo it. Don't lift without a spot, obviously, especially when you're really like struggling to get that thing up, towards the end there. So that was crazy. So that was one big time close encounter. That was just an unbelievable moment. Just the fact that something was telling me to like sit up like that, and then I very narrowly avoided that like total disaster. It would have been horrible. It must have been teetering right on the. If you don't know what it looks like, basically there's like a little hook, and then the bar is supposed to go hooked like that.
It's kind of like a closed hook, but it's more like flat and angular, and it's just solid metal.
Yeah.
So after you lift, it's not in the way because it's more towards your head.
Right.
Where you lift with the bar around your chest level.
And you've got to,
once you're done,
pull it, put it back over, over your head.
You have to pick it up off the hook and then move it a little bit. And to rack it, once you're done, you throw it back a little bit. And
so I guess I just did not go far enough back or something like that.
Like, there's no physical way that it was hanging in midair when you got up. So it must have been like right on the edge. It slipped or something.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Is it had to be teetering right there? Yeah. And so something told me, sit up, man. And that's what I did. Right. And so I've got another related story that I just thought of that happened to me. Like, so that story was like 3-4 years ago, long time ago. This happened to me like a month ago, maybe. Something crazy. So
this is new.
This is a new one. I don't think I told you guys about this one. So I was down visiting my grandparents, right, down on the southeast coast, one of the beaches, right. It's July 4th. So we're making hamburgers.
White people.
Yeah, like the classic, like barbecue food, And so my dad is grilling, and before you grill, you've got to brush off the grill, get it clean and stuff. And then the brush is like it's basically just metallic bristles, right? Yeah. So it's very like sturdy, like metal bristles, right? Yeah. Just cleaning it off. So I take a bite of my hamburger, and again, something tells me in the back of my head.
Spit that shit out?
Something tells me not to spit it out, but before you swallow this, why don't you chew this a little bit more, a little bit longer? Move it around in your mouth and see what you can find.
A mini quest appears.
A little bit of a mini quest, yeah. And so I'm like
a hint. Hey, there might be a secret here.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chew this unnecessarily long, and while I'm at it, I'm just gonna move it around in my mouth a lot. And I start like feeling my tongue for anything that shouldn't be there, and lo and behold, I feel something. I pull it out of my mouth, and it's a metal grill bristle.
Oh, one of the bristles broke when they were brushing it.
It came out of the grill brush thing, right? If you swallow one of my grandma, not this one that's in whose house I'm at, but my other one on my dad's side, right? Yeah. One of her friends actually died from like the same thing. They died from like swallowing it, and it like punctured something.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so but something again told
Chris, you gotta watch your back, man. Death is after your ass.
It's something but on the other side,
somebody else is watching Chris's back.
Something is out there that's telling me. It's like giving me this like secrets or something, where it's like a sixth sense or something like that. Or it's like divine or something. You know what I mean? Where
it's making you work for it just a little bit. It's not saying, yo, it's about to fall. It's just giving you the hint.
It's like a reflex kind of. It's giving me this reflexive instinct to take some kind of action that I normally, under any other circumstance, would not do. Yeah. Normally, I'm laying down on the bench trying to catch my breath.
Sometimes I close my eyes too.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I just let my arms go slack.
I do the same thing.
I would have died.
And then, how many times have I eaten a burger as a white guy? A fucking ton. Like, I've eaten a lot of burgers in my life. We have barbecues all the time. Like, every weekend we grill stuff, right? But
last week we were just eating a burger.
Yeah. But something told me to keep chewing and, like, look for something. And I found a fucking grill bristle, man. Like, a grill brush bristle. That could have... Both of those circumstances could have been potentially... lethal. Very bad.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Fatal. Not lethal.
The second one, not so much. I mean, you're probably not going to die from that. Like, you might puncture your stomach or something, or like your intestines or something.
Well,
like
that's
that,
assuming it punctures anything in the first place.
Yeah.
But still,
it's
it
like
couldn't have been good.
it could. Yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily want to be eating
Bristles.
metal.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean,
Hey, man,
worst case scenario, you
unless
probably
I'm
could have like
iron
gotten
deficient.
surgery or something. Yeah, there you go. Look on the bright side there. But that's
Your first story reminded me a little bit of something I learned from my coach back in high school, and he was very, very safety oriented. He's like, you guys aren't gonna fuck around in the gym. You guys aren't gonna like haze each other to work harder. Like, none of that shit's gonna happen. It's gonna be safety first because he's been a trainer for a while and he's like heard the stories and all
he's
that.
probably seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of shit. The very year before I had that, I was with him. There's a common story in the school. A person lost his finger because you're racking one of the 50s. 50. I
That
don't know.
happened in my school too.
Is this like common everywhere? Anyways, a 50 dumbbell, those things are thick. So when you rack it,
They're heavy. Yeah.
sometimes you just kind of throw it in, especially as a 5 or 10. You just kind of drop it in.
Yeah, if you don't know
if
what
you
a
mess
rack
up-
looks like, it's basically just this metal thing that it sits on, but the edges aren't exactly like
It's
broad.
It's functional, not.
It's not meant to be comfy. It's kind of sharp.
It's not user friendly. It's functional,
Yeah.
And I've missed sometimes when I'm tired, when I'm not looking right, when I'm just being lazy, and I just kind of throw it in.
Yeah.
And I've hurt myself really hard. Like it hurts a fuck ton.
I know. Yeah.
When you crush yourself with just even a 5-pounder, it just hurts like a bitch because it's metal against metal.
Yeah.
This guy was racking a really heavy one, and he lost his finger and didn't even realize it for like another 3 or 4 seconds. Because it was so clean, it was so heavy, it just went right through like butter. And then he says just a few seconds it started hurting, and he started yelling.
It's just, that's a scary thought, man. There's so much that can go wrong in a gym. You really can't abuse it.
Yeah, so he was like super careful about stuff. So one of the things he taught us was like, if you're ever like never bench without a spot.
Yeah.
And what a spot is a guy above you, like behind you, holding the bar and like watching you, and you switch spots. That's what spotting is. Anyways, but he said if you ever do go without a spot, you put the weights on the side of the bar, and then you put these clips to keep them there. Make sure one side is unclipped. Worst case scenario, you can drop it and lean it, and then the weights will slide off. And now one side is really light. You can just get out.
Right.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, right.
And I come here to campus, and I started doing some of those weights, and I keep one side unclipped, and everyone's telling me, "Hey, man, you didn't clip one of your sides." I know. Okay, I'm scared.
Yeah, it's a safety measure.
But you obviously do want to clip so the weights don't wobble and shake and it's
Right.
even.
But hey, if something happens.
I don't know, man. I just want to be able to get out alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
I'm-
definitely kind of reminds me of I don't know, I keep bringing it up, but like Final Destination. I think
Yeah.
Final Destination 3, where some guy, he's like a really big jock, and he's like keeps lifting weights and all that stuff until finally like some swords like cut off like the strings to the weight, and when he like
Some
finally so there's like swords above his weights.
Why?
It's like part of their school like mascot thing going on.
Wait,
They're like real swords.
It's like a show.
No, it's a horror
it's a
movie.
horror movie.
Oh, okay. See that? Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big horror movie advocate. So, but yeah, like yeah. So the swords cut the like weight strings or something, and then when he finally like kind of like flexed and did the weights, it like smashed his head.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Ugh.
So when you guys talk about like weight stores like that, it kind of brings me back to that kind of movie scene. Like that's like the worst.
Sonny's
case
head
scenario.
would crush the weights, though. Sonny doesn't
Yeah,
have
I'm that swole.
You just hit a crack. It's the plates just breaking in half. It's pretty
The time
incredible.
like it's like you guys talking about like close encounters, but what about those like encounters that are not too close, but it still fucking hurts a lot though? Like you have to go to like a hospital or something,
emergency room or something like that.
or just like sprain your foot or every guy's broke your bones or something.
I know you definitely have a story about your ankle. I have a couple stories as well. I'm
Sonny
sure
has
you have
multiple
too.
stories about his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you? Yeah, you can start us off, man.
So okay. So I love to like dance. I'm not a good dancer, but I love to dance.
Okay.
So-
Correction. He's a great dancer. But yeah, realistically, yeah, we don't dance, but like I know we love to dance.
Yeah,
And I know
love to
Sonny
dance.
really loves to dance.
And
Yes, he does.
when it comes to dancing, I dance really hard. Sometimes I don't want to stop dancing because I just love dancing.
Yeah.
So it all started. In prom.
Sonny goes
Super wholesome.
Yeah, he goes 100. He goes 120%. Like
Yeah.
There's no stopping this man.
You know, like, yeah, I went to
Big
prom.
swole guy.
And you know, everyone starts dancing, and then there's me just going fucking hard on the dance floor. And then you know, you get this moment where your feet start fucking hurting like crazy and shit. Yeah, I couldn't walk. Once I was dancing so hard I couldn't walk. And this was like after prom when everyone was starting to go home. I had two of my buddies carry me to my car because
You were there,
my foot was just, yeah, I was the ride, and my feet were like hurting like hell. And God, I just woke up the next morning and just felt that like pain just throughout my whole foot.
Yeah.
And later on in life, in my college years, this is where it came back to bite me in the ass again. And so I went to this Zumba class with one of our friends, Stephanie, and her other friends. And it was this long ass class. It was a hard Zumba class. It was not like this. It was like Zumba times 10. I just wonder how they explain it.
Wasn't it called something like Zumba? Something. It was like the intensive. It was like a special.
I forgot his name, but they say it was like Zumba times 10 and all that stuff.
Right.
And so I'm jamming, I'm dancing. Stephanie wasn't dancing because she was sick that day, and it was just me and her two friends. And both of them, it was just me and Esther. She was there as well.
Oh, okay.
And so the other friend bounced out, and it was just me and Esther just dancing. So I got off the dance floor. My feet, once again, were hurting like a motherfucker. And I'm trying to walk, and my right foot just kept fucking hurting every time I stepped. I was like, oh my God. Like I know this, like, I remember back to my prom days, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll just get better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I drove home, and I realized, holy shit, my foot fucking hurts. Like, I almost can't walk. So I kept going and going, and I like got into my house, and my mom was like, oh, where were you? Like, why are you so sweaty and stuff like that? And she was like, I had to go Zumba. So I was like, oh, you went to go dance? Like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Son, you know what happened last time you danced?
And so I was like, yeah, Mom, like my foot really, really fucking hurts. And she's like, oh, okay, maybe it just get better later on. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to my room. I'm still limping, by the way, when I'm not fully like able to walk yet. Sit down in my chair, and then later on I was playing League with Ihraz and Razme and Mavian. And after a while, like, I just kept thinking to myself, like, why does my feet hurt so bad? And then that whole night I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain.
Oh shit.
And then I woke up the next morning and looked at my foot. It was swollen. It was like ballooning up.
Oh,
and
man.
I started panicking because this never happened before.
Yeah.
So I got really scared, and I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, like, what's going on with my foot? And she's like, oh, I think you sprained your foot. I'm like, oh shit, because this never happened to me before.
You're going so hard.
Yeah, I was just going way too high, and so
that's hilarious.
And
I mean,
so,
not, but it kind of is.
I mean, looking back, it's funny.
Yeah,
like,
looking back now, it's pretty funny. But she's like, oh man, like this also happened to my dad too. He also got like the same thing as I did, and he's like, okay,
You know the dancing genes from him.
yeah. I think I got it from my mom mostly, but
Nice.
so she's like, oh, all right, don't worry about this, I got this. And so, you know, Asian people, they don't like going to the hospital or doctors or anything like that. So we pulled out the Asian remedies. We pulled out the Tiger Balm. So she like rubbed that on my foot. It kind of like steamed my foot a little bit. I don't know how you describe that feeling of Tiger Balm, but it just feels like it burns a bit.
Is that kind of like Vicks?
Yeah, it's kind of like Vicks.
It's like a mentholy kind of.
Yeah.
It's Asian version.
I got you.
It's kind of like a cooling effect when you put it on.
Oh yeah. It's like menthol.
It's totally Vicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. And she just put that on my foot, and every time she touched my foot, it hurt like crazy.
Yeah.
And so every single time she would like, when I said to my mom, like, oh, it hurts. And she's like, oh, stop being such a baby. Like your dad would like had to do much worse. And so her other form of remedy was she got boiling water and she put my foot in it.
Oh God.
She's like,
You think Tiger Balm burns? Try this.
We didn't try ice
for
the swelling?
You know what? That's why I told her. I was like, Mom, let me just put some ice on it. She's like, no. This is what your dad did.
It was
this is how she got
degrees,
better.
not a negative 100.
Yeah, literally, she like it started boiling. She put it in, and she put my foot in it.
Oh my god.
That shit hurt like a motherfucker.
Damn, man.
She was like, Sonny, put your I tried I put my foot in a bit and put it out. Like, god damn, this shit's hot. And she's like, stop being such a baby, Sonny. Put your foot in. Your dad, your dad like water was a lot harder than this. I'm like, and my dad comes in. He's like, yeah, son. My shit was a lot hotter. And I was like, Dad, that's not helping. Like, it hurts. And like, yeah, I know it hurts, but it's the only way you got better. And so I'm getting double teamed by both my parents.
Oh god.
Saying this shit works. And I put my foot down. I'm like, ah, like it's like all around tingling. And I'm like, God. So this goes by like 3 days. This remedy shit.
Wait. Keep doing it?
Yes. Because my parents
is not getting better. So
yeah.
Oh my god.
So like I couldn't walk, and like I'm in so much pain. Like I had to use like the crutches just to get by my house.
Oh god.
And like after a while, like after the 3 days, my mom was asking like, "Why is your foot not getting better?" your dad's foot got better after 3 days. I'm like, Dad, Mom, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the remedies not working. She's like, don't worry, it works. So after like 2 more days, I finally told my parents, like, let me go to the doctors. So I went to the doctors, and like my mom, before we went to the doctor, my mom put Tiger Balm. So my leg was like all oily and shit.
Oh no.
So I went to the doctors, and they're like, is your leg supposed to be that shiny? And like, yes. It's the Tiger Balm. And she's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, we're just gonna scan it. We're just gonna check what's wrong with it.
Oh no.
So they wheelchair me to the X-ray room, and the guy comes out. He's like, holy shit! He looks at my foot. He's like, dude, your foot is swollen. I'm like, yeah. Like, what happened? Like, I sprained my foot. He's like, and it's that swollen? Yeah. Like, what'd you do?
Well, actually, it might have been a couple of days where I burned it.
He's
You
like,
didn't see
yeah.
the 3rd-degree burns on your foot?
And he's like, yeah. He's like, x-rayed it. And it's like, oh yeah. And it just confirmed that I sprained my foot. He's like, okay, we're just gonna just bandage it up, just let it rest a bit, put some ice just to do with the swelling.
There it is. There it is. The ice.
We went in the complete opposite direction of what we should have.
So I went home and I told my mom what happened. She's like, oh yeah, I sprained my foot. Just told me to put ice in, use the bandage. So after I told her that, she's like, take off those bandages. We're going back to the remedies. I was like, Mom, no. She was like, I need to put ice on this and like wrap this bandage, like wrap the thing around it. I don't know what's it called, like the bandages thing where it holds your
the gauze? Or
yeah,
something?
the gauze and stuff like that, and like to hold it tight so it won't be swollen anymore.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you don't need that. And I'm look at my mom,
This
look at
remedy
my
has been with us since, for generations. It works.
So yeah, so the next 2 days, I was fighting against my mom, and I don't know why, but my mom kept yelling at me like to keep doing the remedies. So I still did it. I still did the burning water,
And then the ice.
Some of my parents would even told me sometimes we would not even use the ice. They just said, "All right, Tiger Balm and boiling water, good to go." And then, oh my god, after like 2 more extra days after that, I finally got better. I was able to walk.
That's good.
But I still feel that lingering effect where it still kind of hurts a bit, but I'm still able to walk now.
Oh man, that's pretty crazy.
I have a abridged and shorter and not so cool version of that story. One time for Sonny's birthday, he takes us to a trampoline park.
Yep.
Yeah, and man, it was my first time going to one of those. I feel like I missed out a lot of my childhood not knowing about these, but damn, it was fun. It was just a couple years ago. 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're having fun. We're having a blast. Nothing goes wrong. I'm jumping all over the place. We later go back to Sonny's place just to chill and relax. And one of our other friends who was there said, "Yo, my ankle, like I feel like it's not sprained, but like maybe a twist or something." He wasn't feeling so good. So Mom came and gave him a little. So she had a little bucket and gave him a nice massage. No boiling water, none of that stuff.
I like that.
It was a nice little massage. I'm like, damn, that must feel nice. For me, I start feeling the same thing like a few hours later. It was my left knee.
Yeah,
And to this day, and this was 2 years ago, to this day, my left knee doesn't bend like a certain way. I guess what happened was, I'm a kind of a bigger dude. I jump a lot. I probably injured it or jumped on it too hard. I probably overstressed the ligament in my left knee. So now I know for a fact that there is something that I fucked up, but it's not inhibiting my day-to-day life or anything. But if I lift and I squat, I can feel a little bit. So I just have to be careful. But other than that, within a few weeks, actually no, it took a couple weeks, maybe a month. I can now walk and stuff. Now it's only noticeable when I sit like cross-legged on the floor, like completely, and I can't bend it all the way. Or after just like a minute of sitting, I have to stretch my legs out.
I guess we're just not going back to the trampoline place.
No. But here's the
I've
thing.
heard a lot of stories about people getting really hurt there.
Yeah, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
I hear a lot of stories because I live right over there. A lot of
Oh.
people from my high school go there and stuff. Well, they did. I don't really keep in touch.
Okay, I understood.
Yeah.
Like just like 1 year ago, my family went to like this like outdoor thing. I don't know what to call it. It was like some random farm, but they had this huge like trampoline thing. It was huge. It was like 10 people could be on at the same time, almost like a bouncy house, but just flat. It was a mega trampoline, and I go on it. And by the way, by this time I forgot about my pain in my left knee. I jumped just a little bit, just a couple hops, and I feel it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get off this trampoline right now before I like trigger this and cause another few weeks of pain.
Oh yeah.
So
that was a good call.
So now I know that that was like a confirmation for me. I definitely fucked it up a little bit, so I do need to be careful. But,
Did you go get it checked out?
Nah, because I know what they're gonna tell me.
You fucked it up?
Yeah, like you fucked up. Like you jumped too hard. Now you like.
I gotta be perfectly honest with you, man. I wouldn't go to a Western doctor for that. I would go to an acupuncturist.
Oh, actually, I have yet to go to an acupuncturist. And before I let you talk about an acupuncturist, because I know you have, and I know you have something to say about it. One of my uncles, he had this job where he like lift stuff, and he injured his back so bad one time that it was weird. It's just like a crack or something. Like he didn't know what was going on, and Western doctors didn't help. He at one point when somebody noticed him in pain at the gym because he was like going sauna and trying to go like the hot bath, stuff like that to alleviate some of the pain. He said, "You'll lie down, let me like step on your back, but really lightly." And he just kind of like chiropractored him. Okay. All of a sudden, like one nice good crack, and he was good. Like he's walking fine and everything now. He's like, totally good. It was just a little misalignment. Maybe he pulled something, and he just didn't know how to take care of it. And the doctors were like, "Yeah, you probably just injured. Just rest a few weeks and nothing really happened."
I'm gonna say Western doctors, they're good for what they do, right? Yeah. But sometimes what they do does not go far enough, or maybe they don't have as good of a practical understanding of the body as they might. What I mean by that, and that's not to what's the word?
Diss.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like diss on them. Yeah, I'm not trying to like belittle.
There we go.
What they do or anything like that. Obviously,
they're masters of the field and they know certain things, but that does not mean that there are not other cultures, other areas that have other areas of expertise.
Yeah, Western medicine is not the only kind of medicine. Yeah. There's Eastern as well, and that's kind of what I found to be personally the most helpful. I'll give you two examples: myself and
this is a very big advocate of.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
He's very big.
So, my grandfather, he lives in New Mexico in the middle of nowhere, right? So he doesn't really get around to see, obviously in our area we have like a lot of options, right? Yeah. Big population, all that. So we take him to a chiropractor because I think that his neck was feeling funny or something like that when he was visiting us. And, he went in for his neck, but he came home and he told us that they moved his stomach because his stomach was out of line and it was like causing him pain or something like that. And so I guess that they had to push it under his ribs again or something like that because it had just escaped where it was naturally supposed to be, like the natural like setting of it.
I'm not going to try understanding that, but
I don't get it either. I have no idea, but
the ancient chief,
for some type of reason, they were able to like manipulate where his organs were and kind of set everything where they were supposed to be. And he said that he had like a lot less discomfort after that. Go figure.
I love trying to put reason to shit, and the only thing I can get out of this is, yeah, I think your organs should be where they should be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
How they move? Like
I wish
magic.
I wish that
it's like that. What's that Jim Carrey movie, Ace Ventura, where he just puts his hand through someone's throat and just kind of moves shit around.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty incredible. So I personally have never been to a chiropractor. I'd like to because I hear like good things about it.
Like chiropractors where they crack your stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess that they just
I need one so
fix
bad.
your shit up.
I need that shit so bad.
One of my friends, Justin, told me that he had a lot of back pain before, but he's been going to a chiropractor nearby, and he just hasn't had any pain anymore. But that's kind of another thing. My thing is if you can find yourself a legit, like fresh off the boat fucking acupuncturist in your area, man, you got to do it. Because they can help you with so much stuff, and I talked about this a little bit with the mental health podcast.
That's like the needles through your skin or whatever. Right?
So they have these very fine needles, and all throughout your body. If you ever look up like an acupressure or acupuncture chart, you can see all of the little points,
and it shows the colors and like flow of blood and all that.
Flow of like energy and what point corresponds to like what like organ or whatever, you know. So
a little bit of you spoke a little bit on this, not too much, but a little bit. Yeah, mental health.
Yeah, in the mental health, I delve into this a little bit, but I am a big time advocate for like this particular thing because of I personally have witnessed it working for not only myself for over like 10, 15 years now. I've been going since I was in early elementary school. It's the same guy.
Yeah, you said you had other stuff wasn't working for you.
So he managed to fix. So I went to a doctor, right? Same as you. I went to the doctor, or same as someone. I can't remember. Like where we were just talking about. Yeah, there's like so much stuff. Yes, yeah. So I go to the doctor because when I was like a little kid, my ankles were really weak. Like I could only walk around for maybe like 10 minutes, and I had to sit down because I was in so much pain in my feet, in my ankles.
Oh man!
And so obviously that's not really how a little kid is supposed to be. You know, they were running around for hours, you know, all that. So we go to a Western doctor, and they give me these shoe inserts, and they were pretty expensive. I mean, they cost a lot of money, and I would have to keep getting them because, you know, obviously I'm a little kid. My feet are growing rapidly. But it wasn't even necessarily helping that much. So my uncle, who had been going to acupuncture for a long time because he didn't have health insurance, so he just went to this because it's like $40 a pop, right? Relatively cheap.
Yeah, that was my next question. But we'll get there later. Sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't really take insurance, right? But you can pay cash or card. Or my insurance doesn't cover it necessarily. So anyway, I go in and my parents tell him like his ankles or his feet hurt or something. He takes one look at my feet. Snaps the shit back. It was like dislocated.
He just grabs your leg.
Yeah, he takes my feet and he goes like that. What the fuck? And puts some needles in.
What we're saying right now looks very horrifying.
Yeah, his hands are literally just making cracking motion.
Yeah, it's like
you take bamboo and just snap it, but without your knee. That's the motion he made.
So he does that, right? He relocates my apparently dislocated ankles that the Western doctors did not catch for one reason or another. He fixes it just by moving it around, manipulating it. Then he takes this pen. Looks exactly like a pen, but it's a very fine, sharp point. And he starts going click, 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 all over my ankles, drawing the blood out.
Oh, little teeny pinpoints.
Little teeny tiny, like, oh yeah, that hurts. That hurts a little bit. Well, it's been a very long time since I've had that. He hasn't done that in a long time, but as a kid, that definitely hurt. It didn't feel good. So it goes like click, 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 click. There's a bunch of little tiny holes, and I'm bleeding from them. So that hurts. But what made it...
Can I ask the purpose of that?
I'll tell you.
Is it bloodletting?
Don't know what that is, but I'll tell you. The further step, he goes even beyond, you know, just clicking holes and stuff in me. He gets some suction cups.
Oh, it is bloodletting. I know all about this. All right.
Yeah, he gets some suction cups, and he goes like, squeeze, 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 and my ankle, like the skin on my ankle is like
it turns to a big bubble, right?
Yeah, like a little bubble, right? And all the blood is like oozing out of my holes that he made. And he's like, this is like bad blood. I have to get it out.
Yeah, okay.
So he's draining the blood out, I guess, you know. And man, like 2-3 sessions of that, my feet are totally golden, man. So it's just a little bit of acupuncture with the needles, a little bit of the pin clicking, a little bit of the drawing of the blood, and then the relocation. Totally fine. And then the other thing is, you know, you can go for like basically any physical ailment. One of the things that I think I mentioned on the other pod, but I'll bring up again here. is probably the most astounding visual transformation for me. Is I actually have like mild to moderate scoliosis. It definitely affects the way that I walk. Like if you ever watch the way that I walk, my hips are like misaligned and my shoulders are kind of misaligned. I'm like kind of like on a tilt a little
Chris
bit.
walks like a crab sideways.
Yeah, of course.
I'm kidding.
It just looks it looks a little off. Something looks off about me when I walk or when I do certain things. But one thing that my acupuncturist was able to do solely with the use of the needles, there was no manipulation of my back with his hands or anything like that. Just needles in my feet, in my arms, in my back, and for several sessions, right? The transformation is visual. You can see in the before and after pictures, which I might decide to put up for you guys, there's in my lumbar spine kind of like a C-shaped curve, and then it comes back on itself. So imagine it's like a straight line,
You showed us, Chris.
little bit of a curve outward to one side, and then this way.
And it comes back in.
And it comes back in, yeah.
So it's like the scent sign.
A little bit. A little bit, like a C. C for Chris. C for Curvy Chris. Yeah, it's like that, right? That's the before picture. And then I have one during, and then I have one after. The after one, not only is my spine straight again, but the muscles on each side look a lot more balanced because I had a lot of muscle imbalances. I was lifting at the time.
And obviously you'd work out one side more than the other.
A lot more because my spine was not only bent, it was twisted like this.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Ow.
So that's just another thing that happens.
Rotated a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like rotated, twisted, whatever. It kind of sucks. I still have it. It's been a long time since I've been treated. I really should go back and get treated again. But if you look at the pictures, the curve that's visible in the picture, in the before picture, is no longer visible in the after picture. It's incredible. He literally, no surgery, no nothing like that. He fixes my spine and completely like aligns it in a way that it should be. Of course, it wasn't like perfect. I really should have kept going, but I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't want to be a financial burden on my family or anything like that, so I didn't really go. Now that I have a job, I would love to go back and like really get my shit fixed, you know? But that's something that really just demonstrates the power and the effectiveness of acupuncture. That's like one testimonial for me. The final thing that I'll mention, just as an advocacy for acupuncture, is I, as a kid, I definitely mentioned this before, suffered severely from anxiety and just things like that, right? Kind of OCD. I actually think I have OCD. I'm not gonna lie.
You mentioned that going to therapy did not help, and so you tried acupuncture, and that really did it for you.
Yeah, it was incredible. So I went to therapy for like maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and I just was not able to open up and talk about this thing because I had anxiety about talking about it.
Yeah.
It was like the cycle. I just couldn't do it. And so my parents, again, you know, they took me to the acupuncture. They told the doctor the problem, and he was like, "Okay, got it."
He's always, I got it. Let me just crack another something.
He was good. And so this was several months long process, of course, and it definitely costs a pretty good chunk of money. Won't be a problem if you have insurance for it, but yeah, by the end of the thing, and this was probably like late elementary school, by the time I was like going through middle school, high school, you know, like I was just golden. Like I had amazing mental health. And, you know, of course, I deteriorated, like, my second year of college just due to some other external stimuli.
Understood.
But I've gotten back to it, yeah.
To the acupuncture, you said it was like, what, $40 a pop?
$40 a pop, yeah.
And how often, okay, so you say you don't really go that often, but let's say, not during your peak time, but let's say if, now that you have money, and let's say you make it a regular habit, how often would you go? Would it be like a once a week thing, a once a month thing?
It completely depends on what problem you're having. Sometimes he'll say, "Okay, see you tomorrow," or he'll say, "Okay, see you next week." So you really have to commit to it because he is fully committed to you. My doctor works
What an awesome doctor.
365 days a year. Every single, he never misses a day. And if he does like go on vacation or something, which is very, very rare, like his calling in life is to be there and help people. He feels this obligation to be there and help people because he has this ability.
So that's
What a
completely
great Asian guy.
Okay, so that was one. The bloodletting, I actually know a little bit about it. After he did that, for the next few days, was it a dark circle or dark circles wherever he did it?
Yeah, sure.
So, Sonny, you might know a little bit about this. Cupping. Do you know what cupping is? All right. So what cupping is it's usually on the back. It can be done anywhere. It's kind of massagey, massage -y ish. It's usually on the back. So I'll just use that example. So they take a huge cup type thing, put on your back. Sometimes they use a flame to kill the air. Sometimes they use a cup to kill the air, but not always. Sometimes more advanced, they have like suction, like gun, and your skin bubbles up like a huge dome. Mm-hmm. And after a few minutes, they let it go and it rests. And then they do it in multiple places around your body, depending where you want it, and it bruises. It naturally bruises because what they just do is stretch out your skin.
Right.
Now that's a very Asian culture thing. Now the bloodletting thing, that was very. I don't want to be wrong about this. I know a lot of Indian people do it. I'm Indian, but I know for a fact. Okay, I almost know for a fact that it's an Arab culture thing, where it's bloodletting. So same thing, but they make little holes and cuts.
Yeah.
And same thing. They put teeny little lacerations that you barely feel. It tickles. It makes you want to squirm. But if they do nothing after that and you run your hand over it, it'll heal within minutes. Like there's no actual blood coming.
Sure. Yeah.
But then they put the suction on it, pull at it, and then the blood starts letting out.
Yeah.
And so like I haven't really been inside practice, but my dad has a set and we do it every once in a while to each other, and and my brothers. And when I do it or my brothers do it, the blood is like dark black, and it's literally bad blood. It's not blood.
That's exactly what it was.
And I'm like, wait, aren't you just losing blood from this? No, and obviously, but you shouldn't eat right before or stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's not taking away from your blood supply. It's literally just congealed leftover shit in your system.
Yeah.
Like, it's disgusting. It's black blood. When my dad does it, sometimes it's red or pinkish blood, sometimes just water. And we Googled it and said, when it's water, you want to stop because there's nothing to take.
I see.
Wow.
I mean, these two, you guys have both seen my dad and how he's crazy fit-oriented and like health. Like, I'm not just talking about working out. It's the holy trifecta. He eats well, he works out, and he does cardio. He does everything.
Right.
Like, he's like a role model for a lot of people. He's a role model for me as well.
Definitely.
So when I do it to him, and he still does it, like at least once every 2-3 months, he does it.
Where does he do it particularly?
At home. We have
no, on his body,
Oh, it's almost always the back because that way you can use the biggest cups.
I see.
And it's like one on his shoulder blade, one a little small one's lower, and so the lower gets.
He's not necessarily isolating some part of him that's like in pain or something.
No. One time he went bald and we did it on his head, and I felt so scared. I didn't want to cut to something.
That's so funny.
I was so anxious for him. But
oh my God.
You can do it on your arms, you can do it on your feet, and I think legs. But it's usually just open areas where you're not afraid of like getting cut, really. Yeah. But it's just kind of cultural. It's just do on the back because that's the biggest and easiest. So we weren't targeting anything specifically, but it was very, very interesting. And whenever that would happen, I would have bruises on my back for the next few days.
Yeah.
You want to wearing a shirt is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But it really does work. Like, but the last time I did it, I passed out because I ate right before, and I wasn't ready for it.
Interesting. That's never happened to me. I've never passed out from it. But again, I've only...
I've done it multiple times. And I only passed out one time is because I don't want to say I either had too much food or too little food or something. But everyone else did it. They were fine.
It reminds me of the remedies about like the old ass like remedies about putting leeches on your body.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's kind of where the idea came from. And
wow.
I don't know too much about it except for the fact that I played Assassin's Creed, and they have doctors in there. And
they talk, from games.
and they talk about it, and that was kind of the idea where they just suck it's like surface blood kind of, and they just do that.
That's kind of scary, man. Leeches actually like cut holes in your bodies.
But that's what's controlled. They don't just let them at you. You know, they hold it. I don't know how they do it specifically, but
that's very interesting. I never thought of it.
Bloodletting, yeah, it's an actual thing. And also, you mentioned chiropractic.
Chiropractitioning or something.
I want to do that so bad. Like so like you guys know this about me, but I crack everything.
Yep.
Like, you know, even elbows, like neck, back.
Can you do it for us right now?
Yeah, hold up. That was both elbows. Yeah. and then I mean I could do more, but it just sounded weird. ASMR.
Oh, boy.
That was my knuckles and neck. But anyways,
he's cracking a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so like when I'm bored, I just crack like. and I know you're not really supposed to, and a chiropractor will do it properly. I want to go because I heard stories. I saw this video about the Try Guys doing it, and they looked like they were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I also know, like, I don't have scoliosis or anything, but just the way I've been holding my bag and the straps being misaligned and stuff,
yeah.
I naturally walk a certain way.
Definitely.
And the only reason I know this, and I would never have known this because I didn't really go to a doctor for this, is when I sleep and I go completely flat on my back, I feel a sort of uncomfortableness over time, and I realized it was because I was always curling myself a certain way when I walk, when I sit, when I lift, and it was turning out into an unhealthy habit. So I really do want to try like some of this shit out.
I would love, if someone could just align my body the way it's supposed to be again, that'd be tremendous, man. I would love that.
Like, would you consider chiropractic?
Yeah, I would. Would I go?
Yeah, like a one-time thing. Like, we just go one time.
I would go.
All of us.
Yeah, we should go.
And just
I'll hit up Justin and ask him like where he goes because he definitely recommends that guy.
I mean, how much is it?
That's a good question.
True. We should probably figure that out. But when it comes to acupuncturing, I'm gonna hit you up and ask for your guy.
So yeah, I would definitely. I mean, this guy.
Are you gonna do a shout out for him?
Maybe. I don't know if I want to give away too much.
Obviously, ask him first.
Yeah, as far as like location-y type stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I would just say if you can look up, I don't know, like acupuncturists in your area, make sure it's like legit. Make sure there's good reviews for it and people actually like swear by it the way that people I know in our community swear by this guy.
And the way you swear by him.
And the way I swear by him, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of shit that I swear by. And that's definitely one of them. And a lot of them don't have to do with like Western medicine and stuff. But I think that we'll have to get into that another day. This is getting to be quite a long one.
But I think I just have one more thing to say. Just don't like completely throw away Western medicine.
There's a time and place, definitely, especially like antibiotics. And stuff.
Yeah. When it comes to more like the actual, I want to say like the pills and like the manufacturers goods. Yeah. Like, I mean, he did put a disclaimer at the beginning: don't belittle it. And I know we went kind of a long tangent on Eastern medicine, but by no means we're belittling. Like there are times when
definitely, I mean, you definitely have to go. I don't know. I'll save it for another time. I think we'll have to do a whole podcast where we just get into like different health shit, regarding Western medicine and stuff. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely touched on a lot of these.
We need a doctor on this podcast.
Actually, I think it'd be interesting to have
like a medical student or something.
A medical student or a doctor, somebody who has something to say about it.
Yeah.
And we kind of throw our myths at him, and he or she's like, "Nah, that's a lie, man."
Yeah, they can debunk it, or we can, share experiences.
Any of you viewers are doctors or something, medical students, hit us up. Maybe join the podcast.
Yeah, we would love to hear your thoughts on some of this stuff, and also experiences with like Eastern medicine, or not just Eastern, but just medicine that, or like remedies that you don't really see around here, because acupuncture, I've never gone to it. Chiropractic, I've never done that. I'm only coming to know about from you guys. So if I could learn about more things out there, that would be really interesting. I know like some people go to like steam rooms and they put like a certain type of incense in there.
Like essential oils and stuff.
Yeah. Like I know that's a thing. Like
you probably didn't get close enough to me to notice, but I'm wearing some right now, man.
What?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We will talk about this on the next episode.
All right, but yeah,
look forward to it.
Yeah, please, like hit me up, hit us up with like some of these things, because I'm also looking forward to some of this.
For sure, like the amount of time I spent on Google looking up like, what's the healthiest like this thing I can do? What's like the best thing I can do for this thing? Like, I'm definitely interested. Like, if you know something, don't hold out on me, man.
I know.
I will not hold out on you if you don't hold out on me.
Yeah, so Chris is sharing with y'all, and I'm going to benefit from that, and I'm hoping you share, and so we can benefit more. Right. And hopefully this might help some other people, because, trust Chris. I can't say trust me, but trust Chris.
From cars to...
Actually, yeah, and also like close encounters, near-death experiences. If you guys have any of those to share, please do.
Tell me someone out there has had these kind of like interventions,
yes,
or like instincts or something like that. I would love to hear that. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll definitely see you next time. So
Peace out. See you guys next time on a Sick Podcast.
Bye.